Good morning. So, as you know, I am the one and only Sifu Slim, and I am here in a very bright and early morning in the beautiful springtime moving into summer. And I happen to have with me Super C, also known as Super Chloe. And she has a background in many of the areas that I write about from a scientific and a cultural point of view, and many more things. And she digs into things. It's kind of been her job, has been a digger and a learner for many years. So I have a big question to ask Super C this lovely morning. So first of all, what did we do today? And maybe you could describe that for people out and about, what it means to get out to nature and in the recreational physical capacity.
What did we do today? We got up very early while the sun was not yet shining and hauled our boodies
Did we warm up?
to the Mission District. We did a nice warm up. I love the little morning crawl. We imitated a few little four-legged beans this morning, and we.
Yes, hit the trails.
Yes, we hit a trail right up through the Riviera district, which was gorgeous, but all covered, kind of shrouded in that nice mystery mist, and we saw a lot of beautiful trees, and actually flora and fauna. A few little bunnies along the way.
Fair amount of succulents.
Yes, nice succulents. An interesting new fruit, unidentified fruit still, although Henri, Sifu Slim has an identification somewhere. He is previously identified, but we're going to find... Oh, yes, we found cedar. Cedar is a very lovely botanical, very important in one of the 4 major Native American medicines. It brings positive energy in. I have taken cedar in a metaphysical manner, actually, as a kind of a distilled tincture of sorts. And it led me on a very good path in the past with native Wampanoag people.
From the Massachusetts, Cape Cod?
Yeah, I would say they are the first tribe of the United States, settling in the United States. They're the Thanksgiving Day tribe. They're the ones who met the Puritans off the boat, first contact. And they are still around today. So yes, but cedar is a very just lovely smelling plant, and it brings in positive energy. Unlike it does a little bit different thing. Sometimes people don't know this. We're not sure if we're just keeping negative spirits away or bringing in positive. But it brings in positive. You would burn sage to dispel negative spirits. So this is when you want to have a little bit of good energy in your life. You can bathe in it. You can just make little wreaths of it and hang it around your home. I hung it in my car for about half a year, and there's other kind of preparations you can do with it, but some
I am
of
not
them
going
take
to leave
a little
home
more.
without it.
Okay, good. Some people, yeah, go ahead.
We of course run as hunter-gatherers, so we gather along the way of our running, and so that's what Chloe did. Super C stopped, and the tree was gigantic, the size of what you would think a redwood is. These cedars can get like a redwood tree, and very strong root system. They can withstand lots of Mother Nature's pressure and tremblements de terre, which are
earthquakes.
Correct.
Yes.
Les tremblements de terre. These cedars can handle that, and they can live like giant sequoias. Probably not. I don't know if they can live since Charlemagne like these giant sequoias, but they can live a long time. And along the way, we were running, doing our best to be biomechanically true to our nature. And who knows more about being true to the nature than the people who live in nature? That's what I'm telling you. Western medicine said, and I mentioned this to Super C along the run, is the big message of the late 1800s, early 1900s is that you can't do it without us. And what did I say it meant?
You can't do nature.
You can't live.
You can't live.
You can't live. You can't do it. You can't do life without us. You Western medicine people can't, Western people cannot live without us. And if you're in Africa and you're now unable to find your water like your ancestors could because you're all in a sedentary village somewhere, now you need us to bring in water systems because we know how to bring in water systems to people who live in sedentary villages. So along the way, that's what happened. We got denatured. We lost the lessons of our ancestors, and then we had society and industry and government and nonprofits, all these people, sometimes with good intentions, but historically and anthropologically, diminishing our connection to doing things for ourselves and living with some foresight.
Like rainmaking, for instance. Rainmaking actually is not a pseudoscience, it's a skill of many indigenous people around the world. It doesn't happen in a big, vast cloud seeding or that type of aerospace type apparatus, but there are a lot of rain shrines and a lot of ways to bring rain or affect the quality of rain or rain gauges and sentinels of rain around the world. And when we have some of these sedentary villages along with that was some of my work in Dombashara, actually rain monuments that worked geothermally, geomorphically, right? You would have a cave with a geomorphic kind of chimney and a whole setup anyway that really works to bring the rain. But once you turn these into a tourist trap for all the rest of us who were sedentary, now we want to get out and get off our butts for a little bit and go see something, then you make the rainmakers mobile, and they have no place to make rain anymore. So we think that we can get away from mobility or like just do it when we want, but actually we need a little bit of both. We need our places that we can go to, sacred places that we can return to again and again, and we need to like be able to move and find those different spots, just like we did this morning. Like we need to move, but we also need to be able to have places that are safe for us or sacred and that we go to again and again.
Very good.
Off tangent, off topic.
One of my mantras is to live as much as we can like our forebears, the hunter-gatherers, even though we live in a sedentary society with lots of sitting, lots of computers, driving around, sitting on buses and what have you. And so that's what I believe I've developed a mastery in because I've been at it for so long. Left the gyms. I was one of the first people in my town in New Jersey in the 70s to go to one of these giant gyms that had all the indoor setups and the racquetball courts and the Nautilus machines and the Stairmasters and all these things. Didn't have Stairmasters in the 70s, but we had everything else. And so we did all this indoor living, and I lived in the country. So I mixed in my farm life, my hunting, my fishing, my hiking, my sports at school, my running, and just walking and biking over to friends' houses in with that indoor workout. But eventually I couldn't take it anymore, and as Popeye said, that's all I could stand, and I can't stand no more. And I left the gyms in the early 90s, and for most of that time, unless I was at a hotel or something where there was a class or a martial arts center, I was outdoors for working out, and that includes the winter, where I would be at a ski resort, and I was wanted to do my physical workout with the push-ups, where you don't get a lot of chest activity in skiing. So I'd go out and do my workout with my ski outfit on for an hour, using the kids' playground, with snow on it, and just wipe off the snow and do my exercise there. I was the only one doing that, and I've been the only one doing a lot of the morning stuff, and I've been out doing it for more than 30 years. And I'm surprised that I'm the only one doing it. Some people go out for walks, they take their dogs out, they go for runs, but the full-on workouts at a park or at the beach or on a trail, I'm one of the only people I've seen doing it on a regular basis over the last 30 years. Anthropologically speaking and culturally speaking, why do you think that is?
I do think we have a metaphysics of sedentization. I'm going to say that, but it's, this kind of comes from a more political standpoint of we are a settler society as well. And when we came here and we were like really made our stakes on land that wasn't ours, and we got our titles to it, we put ourselves in places where we had to be me, myself, and mine. And possessive individualism is an ethos of Western society. So we guard those places, not as sacred places that we can all access for non-humans and humans alike. We guard them as like individual possessions. And I think there's been a lot of wars over land and these spots. We want we want that security, and we guard it for ourselves, but we don't allow the flux and flow. We don't allow other people to come in and
participate in using that space.
Right, and then we don't leave so much anymore either, because we're still guarding it.
We put a fence up, we guard it.
Yeah.
There may be oil resources on that land. There may be food, or it may be just our safe haven to protect ourselves, wall ourselves in. And that, the history of the gated community.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeping out the people who don't have a right to be in our gate, and living in a state of fear rather than a state of mutual cooperation. So now we're going to take a little look at the Tarahumara, the tribe of natives in the Copper Canyon in Mexico, who've been there since the conquistadors, 1600s, and how these people run. So Chloe's been thinking about this, and I've been looking into this since I read the book Born to Run, and I was honored to read that. It's a fascinating book, and it talks about how they run. Now, in the book is about the greatest race you've never heard about, and that's an interesting thing, because the Tarahumara aren't thinking about running to win. They are running with euphoria as a pastime, just like some people play tennis or bocce or go bowling or play volleyball, softball, what have you. They run recreationally. Now, to them, running with that euphoria is a blessing. It's not something to shed pounds. It's not something to get their mind off of whatever the stress was of the 10-hour workday. It's just part of their being. And they actually play a ball game where they have a little ball the size of a shot put that's made out of wood, and they dribble it down these steep cliffs and then up the other side. And they can control that just like you and I, when we were 15, could control a soccer ball on the flat, and they do it on these rocky cliffs with drop-offs. So the interesting thing I wanted to ask Chloe about is, we write in the Western world about winning, performance, and doing the right training, and having the right mindset, having the right coaches, and doing the right events, etc., and doing that for 10 years, then you want to win. And then you get yourself on the cover of a magazine when you're a professional or winning an amateur event. So the Tarahumara don't think that way. Why is everything, when we get the Tarahumara together, we have to run a race with these people? Why can't we just hang out with them and assume what they do in their life, and they could check out our lives? Why does everything have to be a race?
Alas, I do think it's kind of an addiction of sorts, just like you get adrenaline or the kind of recognition. There's certain things that way, but I will say that what I would see going on with the Tarahumara is, just like in ritual, there's an altered orientation structure, an altering of like your everyday orientation to life in the world. And your senses can be differentiated during that time, or extended, or there's a sense of being, you can even have a sense of being superhuman, just like when you take drugs or you hallucinate or that sort of thing. It's a ritual way of doing it, though, that means something, and they have a very unique, no doubt, unique complex. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. I'm pretty sure they have a somewhat shared cultural complex because of that area of the world. But the Hopi also, when they run, they're doing prayers for Mother Earth, the feet pounding, and rain dance also has a very similar, like, pounding on the earth. This is not about self, again, me, possessive individualism. This is about me in relationship to non-humans or other elements. So there's a really good meaning there. That means that I am doing something good for another. And there is no me without a you. This is a self-definition that builds upon my relationship with others, not just me, my traits, my winnings, my goals, and I am not addicted to these particular things. You can get addicted to running, though, because of the adrenaline, but if you don't have a particular meaning or cosmology, it can actually push you to the point of hurting yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're not feeling that euphoria anymore, the euphoria is the guide, meaning that you're in the ritual, you're almost in the trance. You could be possessed in a way at that moment. So it's a little bit different when you're running for that end goal. That is the big reward. It can be money, but what is that meaning you've attached to it? And is it bigger than yourself? If it's not bigger than yourself, it may not be that big.
It's fantastic. So, connecting with nature, connecting with the lessons from the tribes who came before us is something that you
that
get.
Are still here.
And that many are still here. Yeah. So that's what I am getting, besides the fact that I meet people like Chloe who share their knowledge with me. It's being out here every morning allows me time to use my intuition, to use the wisdom that I've gained through books, videos, and other people. And my